Hi everybody, this is my story how I built my small electroacoustic. It started with a kit that I got from eBay that I bought for saving some work for not having to make the neck and so on. The next thing is that I looked for some plans for a Telecaster because I wanted to have the original positions of the pickups. Then everything started with making some templates. This one is one for the body. The next template you will see is, here I'm fixing the neck and trying to make it so that it perfectly fits to the body, because this is very important for the latest sound. Then I made another template for the top because I decided to use a first-class spruce top, which I also use for my classic guitars that I make. So the first thing was planning the sides of the top so that I could bookmatch them and glue them together. So here you see some small applied glue on the surfaces, and here this is my press where I always join my top. After joining, I planed everything down to the desired strength and to make it resonate good later on. Then it started with preparing everything for emptying the body. So I again used some templates and made one for cutting out the body because I wanted the entire body to be hollow. And then I needed a small face on the sides because I wanted to glue the top into the body so that it fits nice. Sometimes if you don't have a computer-aided design program, you need to do everything by hand, but that's what I'm used to. So I even drew some small lines and cut it out with a knife. So a lot of this, what you see, or everything of what you see, is more or less handwork. So then I tried to imagine how the guitar would look later. Made a few finishings on the body because it was a cheap one from eBay, so it needed some work. So here you see as it looked as I started emptying the body and making hollow. I did this with my hand drill, and this is some hours later, and as you see on the back, with lots of wood coming out there. So I emptied, and here it is almost empty, but in a very rough way. So the next thing that I had to do is prepare the routing. Here you see some details on the corners where I needed this line that I drew there. So I made another template, fixed the almost hollow body in this template, and then I started routing it so that it was empty. So this is the other side of the template, and here this is after routing. You see now that I have a nice corner. Inside there is still the remainings of my handwork, but this I planned out with my violin planner. So I made the entire body look nice and be hollow. Then this is cutting out on the bottom for the small hole where I could reach in and then install electronics later on. And even there I needed to cut down a little bit further because I did not want to have the top looking out of the back. This is planning down the remainings because there on the neck joint I wanted to have the top so that it joins with the neck as well, so I had to do that. And this is more or less the finished body, which is now ready for gluing in the top. It looks a bit rough because I did not really care so much about the optics because the entire build was a prototype. So for me it was not so important whether it really looks perfect in the end. I just wanted to check whether it makes sense at all. Here is a test where I took the template for the top and checked whether it fits into the nuts. I cut out the top with this template. And here you see my smallest planner that I have. I used that to make the joint look good and fit perfect. But before gluing in the top, I had to do the bracing. I made some thoughts about what bracing I was going to use, and none of the existing bracings makes sense because such a guitar wasn't built before, so there's nothing that I could rely on. So I decided to go with 3 fans, or how do you call those small things in English? I don't know. So it's a very simple one, but I wanted to have more or less the entire top resonate. So I glued on those small bars, and after gluing there was some work to do to shape them in the way that I wanted them to look at. Here you see that where I was going to prepare was going to fix the pickups, I made some hardwood on it, I cut out the sound hole, and now the top was ready and it could be glued into the body, as you see here. And after some drying, which took about a day. I used hide glue, by the way, because I wanted to have first perfect sound connection, then I wanted to be able to take off the top in case it was necessary. I decided to go for an electronic which is known from Brian May, so I decided to install 3 pickups in my guitar, and I have them with a each of them was got his own switch, so that I could switch every single pickup on, off, and off phase. Then I did some painting, which is not very nice because, as I said, it's a prototype and the look is not important to me at this stage. And then you see how the guitar looks now. The top is glued in, the body is painted, everything is ready to be finished. So next thing was to glue on the bridge, and as I wanted to have a hybrid, I decided to use a standard acoustic bridge with a piezo pickup in, and then the normal pickups from Telecaster. So here you see as I mount the bridge pickup, which was quite a hassle because the top hole was a bit too small. Here you see the 3 switches, and then I have a volume and a tone potty. And on the end left you see the cable sticking out. Now after lots of soldering and installing, the guitar was ready to be stringed. So this is just some cheap strings that I used, and this is how it looks at the end. Telecaster shape with a totally empty body and with 3 pickups, the neck pickup as you see, the bridge pickup that you see, and then in the bridge a piezo pickup, and under the top there is a transducer. So I can have a totally acoustic sound with the guitar, or I can blend the different systems. And I have lots of varieties. I made a table and to figure out how many varieties I have, and in the end it showed up that it is 26 different positions that I can switch. So as I said, every pickup can be turned on, or can be turned on with reversed phases, or it can be turned off. And this is in the end how the guitar looks, with a nice neck joint. Sound hole I used in the upper bout because I did not want to have a sound hole between the 2 pickups, because compared to Fender's Acoustasonic, I definitely wanted to have 2 magnetic pickups, and with a sound hole in between this would not have been possible statical wise, because I need a top that is still stable and that can resonate, and if you do a sound hole there it would never work, so I decided to put it there. So this was the short story of building this guitar, and sound samples will follow.